stop looking at this image as art. Start looking at it as a crime scene photo from the near future. The fire you see here is not a metaphor, but a mathematical certainty awaiting us in 2026. Do you think the dollar is immortal, or do you already smell the smoke? In reality, this is just a fragment. Watch this video to the very end, and you will understand the true gravity of the current financial picture. The picture that is being hidden from you behind dry news reports. The global economy is a giant canvas, and right now it is stretched to its breaking point. But who is the artist behind this chaos? Whose hand is mixing the paints of war, inflation, and panic? Is this a random accident, or is someone deliberately painting this grim finale? Today, we will analyze every brushstroke. We will see why this canvas is already cracking and why it is guaranteed to tear apart exactly in 2026. This is not just a crisis. This is the completion of a masterpiece that has been in the works for 50 years. And you're not gonna like what happens when the painting falls off the wall. Let's dive in. Let's start with what lies on the surface, yet everyone chooses to ignore. Imagine your house is on fire, but the fire is currently inside the walls. From the outside, the paint looks fresh, the lawn is mowed, and the neighbors are envious. But inside, the support beams have already turned to charcoal. This is exactly what is happening to the U.S. economy right now. You've heard the phrase, the U.S. national debt is huge, but you have no idea how huge. It is no longer just debt. It is a mathematical anomaly. Look at this. Show the exponential debt graph. In 2024, America spent more money on servicing its debt, just paying off the interest, than on its entire defense industry. More than the Army, Navy, and Air Force combined. Think about that. The most powerful empire in the world is working solely to pay interest to banks. This is called a debt-death spiral. To pay off old debts, they are forced to print new money. The more they print, the higher the inflation. The higher the inflation, the higher the interest rates. The higher the rates, the more expensive it becomes to service the debt. It is a vicious cycle, and it is impossible to break it without a total system collapse. Most people think, well, they printed money before, they'll just print more. But there is a nuance. Physics. Every time a new dollar brings less and less economic growth. Today, to generate $1 of GDP growth, you need to inject $5 of new debt into the system. The efficiency is plummeting. The engine has overheated. And this brings us to the factor that will turn this slow rot into an instant explosion. Look at the face in the bill for my thumbnail. Donald Trump. His return or even just the shadow of his policy is the catalyst. Trump is a proponent of a weak dollar. He has said so directly. He needs a cheap dollar so that American factories can sell their goods abroad. Make America great again means bringing production home. But what does this mean for the global financial system? Isolationism, trade wars, drift. If America closes in on itself, the world no longer needs trillions of dollars for trade. China, India, Saudi Arabia, they all understand this. They have already started the process of abandoning the dollar. Oil is already being sold for yuan. This is called de-dollarization. And here's the scariest part. All those dollars that have been circulating abroad for decades will start coming home, back to the U.S. It's like a tsunami. When this money supply floods the American domestic market, we will see hyperinflation like in the Weimar Republic or Zimbabwe. Only the scale will be planetary. Trump might try to reset the system, declare a default on foreign debts, or peg the dollar to gold at a new, much higher price. In any case, the dollar sitting under your mattress will turn into paper. And this leads us to the main question. When? Why? Am I so confidently pointing to 2026? It's not a guess. It's the cycles of history. There is a theory called the fourth turning by Neil Howe. It states that history moves in cycles of 80 years. This is the length of one human life. Let's count. 1780s, the U.S. Revolutionary War, creation of a new system, add 80 years. 1860s, the U.S. Civil War, total collapse and reconstruction, add 80 years. 1940s, World War II, and the Bretton Woods system that made the dollar king, add 80 years. We land exactly in the 2020 to 2026 range right now. The life cycle of the current world order is ending. The old system is dying. It is a law of nature. But there is also a more pragmatic reason. In 2025 and 2026, we hit the peak of corporate and government bond maturity. This is the debt wall. Companies and governments will have to repay trillions of dollars, but they don't have this money. They will have to refinance. And at what rates? At current massive rates. This is the moment of truth. Bankruptcies will start a chain reaction. Banks will start falling one after another like dominoes. And then governments will take the final step, a step that will change your life forever. What does a government do when its currency burns in the fire of inflation? It introduces a new currency. You've already heard this acronym, CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. They will tell you it's convenient, that it's safe, that it's the rescue from the crisis. Look, the old dollar collapsed. Your savings burned, but we are kind. We will give you new digital dollars. Just install the app. But this is a trap. Cash is freedom. You can buy whatever you want, wherever you want, from whomever you want. Digital money, CBDC, is programmable code. The state can decide what you can buy. For example, no more than a gallon of gas per week because of the carbon footprint. Where you can buy, a ban on transactions more than 5 miles from home during a lockdown. And most importantly, this money can have an expiration date. Imagine your salary arrives and you must spend it within 30 days or it disappears. It is the perfect tool to stimulate the economy and the perfect slavery for you. In 2026, at the peak of the crisis, this system will likely be introduced as an emergency measure, and it will remain forever. I know right now you feel scared. That's normal. But fear paralyzes while action saves. While the crowd runs around in panic when the banks close their doors, you can be prepared. History teaches us that there are assets that survive the death of any empire. Gold and silver, real physical metal, not paper certificates on the stock exchange. This is God's money. It was valuable 5,000 years ago, and it will be valuable in 2026. When the dollar becomes trash, an ounce of gold will buy you a house. Bitcoin, like it or not, this is the only system that no government and no bank can control. It is the digital gold of Generation Z. If you need to move your wealth across a border without strip searches, this is your option: land and skills. In times of chaos, real things are worth more than numbers on a screen. A house with a water source, solar panels, the ability to build or fix things with your hands. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket, especially if that basket is made of burning dollars. The year 2026 will arrive sooner than you think. There is almost no time left to prepare. Look at the calendar. Every day you spend in the illusion of stability is a lost chance to build your ark. I am not a prophet. Just look at the data. And the data is screaming danger. Let me know in the comments. What do you believe in more? That the dollar will stand or that a new world order awaits us? And if you want to know the specific steps of how I am preparing my portfolio for 2026, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If this video gets 10,000 likes, I will release a practical guide. Stay safe. And remember, a crisis is not just danger. It is an opportunity for wealth transfer. Be on the right side of history. See you next time.